Technical support.
Technical support.
Maybe you'd better try calling tech support.
Technician.
Technician.
A laboratory technician.
A hospital technician.
Whether he was a great artist or not, Dolly was a superb technician.
Technicolor.
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 Technique.
Technique.
There are various techniques for dealing with industrial pollution.
In mathematics, we use many techniques of problem solving. He's a great player with brilliant technique.
Techno.
Techno.
Techno. Techno.
Technophobia. Technoliteracy.
Technocracy.
Technocracy.
Technocrat.
Technocrat.
Technofix.
Technofix.
Technogeek.
Technogeek.
Technogeeks on the hunt for new tools.
Technological.
Technological.
The steam engine was the greatest technological advance of the 19th century. The most technologically advanced factory in Europe.
Technologist.
Technologist.
Technology.
Technology.
Modern technology makes moving money around much easier than it used to be.
Advances in technology have improved crop yields by over 30%.
There have been major new developments in satellite technology.
Many people are unwilling to embrace new technologies.
Technophobe.
Technophobe.
Tech savvy.
Tech savvy. Tech savvy teenagers.
Techie.
Techie. I usually buy him something techie for Christmas. He loves gadgets.
Tectonic.
Tectonic.
Tectonic movements.
Teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
Teddy boy.
Teddy boy.
Tedious.
Tedious.
The work was tiring and tedious.
A tediously long film.
Tedium.
Tedium.
We sang while we worked to relieve the tedium. The tedium of everyday life.
Tea.
Tea.
His attitude really tees me off.
T-ball.
T-ball.
Teed off.
Teed off.
Team.
Team.
It's been teeming down all day. The island was teeming with tourists.
Teeming.
Teeming.
The teeming streets of the city.
She walked home through the teeming rain.
Teen.
Teen.
She was in her teens when she met him.
We moved to York when I was in my early teens.
A rock star and teen idol.
A teen magazine.
Teenage.
Teenage.
A teenage boy.
My teenage daughter.
The teenage years.
Teenage rebellion. The problem of teenage pregnancy.
Teenager.
A TV sex education series aimed at teenagers.
Teeny.
Teeny.
I was just a teeny bit disappointed.
Teeny bopper.
Teeny bopper.
Teeny weeny.
Teeny weeny.
Teepee.
Teepee. T-shirt. T-shirt. Teeter.
Teeter.
She teetered along in her high-heeled shoes.
The country teetered on the brink of war.
Teeter-totter.
Teeter-totter.
Teeth.
Teeth.
Teeth. Teeth.
Teething troubles.
Teething troubles.
Teetotal.
Teetotal.
Teetotaler. Teetotaler. Tefl. Tefl.
Teflon.
Teflon. Telly. Telly.
A telescope.
Telecommunications.
Teleshopping.
A teleplay.
Telecare.
Telecast.
The game will be telecast live.
Telecommunications. Telecommunication.
A new telecommunications system.
Telecommuter.
Telecommuter. teleconference, teleconference,
Telegenic.
telegenic,
Telegram.
Telegram.
The telegraph.
Telegraph.
Once he knew where we were, Lewis telegraphed every few hours.
A slight movement of the hand telegraphed his intention to shoot.
Telegrapher.
telegrapher,
Telegraphist.
telegraphist,
Telegraph pole.
telegraph pole,
Telemarketing.
telemarketing,
Telemedicine.
Telemedicine.
Telepathic.
Telepathic.
Telepathy.
Telepathy.
Telephone.
Telephone.
Reservations can be made by telephone.
I've never met him, but I've spoken to him on the telephone. I read the names out to him over the telephone.
He shouted at me down the telephone.
The telephone rang just as I was leaving.
She picked up the telephone and dialed a number.
I said goodbye and put down the telephone.
I was on the telephone when he came in.
Sammy telephoned to say that he would be late.
I'll telephone you later.
Telephone banking.
Telephone banking.
Telephone banking.
Telephone book.
telephone book,
Telephone booth.
Telephone booth.
Telephone box.
telephone box,
Telephone call.
telephone call.
There's a telephone call for you, Mr. Barron. I had a telephone call from George this morning. Can I make a quick telephone call?
Telephone directory.
Telephone directory.
Telephone exchange.
Telephone exchange.
Telephone number.
Telephone number.
What's your telephone number?
He gave me his address and telephone number.
Telephone pole.
Telephone pole.
Telephonist.
Telephonist.
Telephony.
Telephony.
Telephoto lens.
Telephoto lens.
Teleport.
Teleport.
They are teleported from the ship down to the planet's surface.
Teleprinter.
Teleprinter.
Telesales.
Telesales.
Telescope.
Telescope.
Details on the moon's surface can only be seen through a telescope.
The whole legal process was telescoped into a few weeks. The front of the car telescoped when it hit the wall.
Telescopic.
Telescopic.
A tripod with telescopic legs.
A telescopic lens.
A rifle with a telescopic sight.
His telescopic observations of the moon.
Telethon.
Telethon.
Teletypewriter.
Teletypewriter.
Televangelist. Televangelist.
Televise.
Televise.
The game was televised live on ABC.
Television.
Television.
Lucy turned on the television to watch the evening news.
They have a television in every room.
In the evenings, I like to relax and watch television.
What's on television tonight? Jean works in television.
A television film crew.
Television license.
Television license.
Televisual.
Televisual.
A major televisual event like the Olympics.
Teleworker.
Teleworker.
Telex.
Telex.
Tell.
Tell.
I wish someone had told me the meeting was cancelled.
The chief of police told reporters that 2 people were killed in the blast.
Jack had to go, but he didn't tell me why.
I think you'd better tell me exactly what's been going on around here. No one had told them about the drug's side effects.
I'll tell you all about it when I get back.
Tell me your phone number again.
She told us some funny stories about her sister. Shepard was telling the truth.
Tell me straight, Adam. Just answer yes or no.
The light tells you when the machine is ready.
The bear's sense of smell tells it where prey is hiding.
What do these fossils tell us about climate change?
The teacher told the children to sit down quietly.
I thought I told you not to touch anything.
Bernice was told she had to work late this evening.
Stop trying to tell me what to do all the time.
Do as you're told and don't ask questions.
She might have been lying. Benji couldn't tell.
The moment Kramer walked in, I could tell that things were not going well.
You could tell a mile off that he was lying.
It's hard to tell how long the job will take.
I could tell from his tone of voice that Ken was disappointed. How can you tell a fake Vuitton handbag from the real thing?
Can you tell the difference between sparkling wine and champagne?
I keep telling myself there is nothing I could have done to save him. I told you it was a waste of time talking to him.
My mother told me not to trust Robert.
If you hit me, I'll tell.
An unpopular boy who was always telling tales on the other children.
There must have been 8 cars in the accident, all told.
These late nights are really beginning to tell on him.
I tell you what, let's have a picnic in the park.
I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to standing up in court tomorrow.
I don't really want to go out, to tell the truth.
I'm telling you, Sheila, I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Tell me, do you think this dress goes with these shoes?
So tell me, how was it in Argentina? I suppose you've come to say, I told you so.
I'll tell you one thing, you'll never get me to vote for him.
Let me tell you something. If I catch you kids smoking again, you'll be grounded for a month at least.
Well, you can tell him from me that I'm going to make a complaint.
How much would a rail ticket cost? I couldn't tell you. I always drive. Where are you taking me? I can't tell you. It would spoil the surprise.
I can't tell you how worried I've been.
I'm sorry I'm late, but don't tell me the car broke down again.
Mike tells me you've got a new job.
He's such a pain to live with. You're telling me. I've been so tired lately. Yeah, tell me about it.
The boy might turn out to be a genius. You never can tell.
There's no telling what she'll try next.
Andy started criticizing the way I was dressed. Dawn always tells it like it is.
Mum, what are you getting me for my birthday? I'm not telling you. You'll have to wait and see. I badly wanted the job, but knew that my age would probably tell against me.
It's almost impossible to tell the twins apart.
The poem tells of the deeds of a famous warrior.
Shelley was one of those kids who was always getting told off at school.
My dad told me off for swearing.
Please don't tell on me. My parents will kill me if they find out.
Teller.
Teller.
Telling.
Telling.
A telling argument.
The story gets better with each telling.
There's no telling who's going to show up tonight.
Telling off.
Telling off.
I've already had one telling off from Dad this week.
Telltale.
Telltale.
They examined the child carefully, looking for telltale signs of abuse. Telly.
Telly.
Is there anything good on telly tonight?
Tembler.
Tembler.
Temerity.
Temerity.
He actually had the temerity to tell her to lose weight.
Temp.
Temp.
Carol's temping until she can find another job.
Temper.
Temper. That temper of hers will get her into trouble one of these days. According to Nathan, Robin has quite a temper. Theo needs to learn to control his temper. Be careful, he's got a pretty violent temper.
Mason's temper flared when he spotted his girlfriend kissing another man. I've never seen Vic lose his temper.
It's no use talking to him when he's in a temper.
Pete hit his brother in a fit of temper.
Watch out. She's been in a foul temper all day. Her boss would fly into a temper if a project wasn't done on time.
I was finding it increasingly difficult to keep my temper.
Minnie was always good-tempered and agreeable.
The temper of life in Renaissance Italy. The heat in this coastal town is tempered by cool sea breezes. Tempered steel.
Tempera.
Tempera.
Temperament.
Temperament.
Jill has such a lovely relaxed temperament.
Tolkien was by temperament a very different man from Lewis.
Temperamental.
Temperamental.
Preston is particularly good at handling temperamental people.
Sorry if the heat is a bit temperamental.
Serious temperamental differences between the couple.
Temperance.
Temperance.
Temperate.
Temperate.
Temperate zone.
Temperate zone.
Temperature.
Temperature.
The temperature of the water was just right for swimming.
Water boils at a temperature of 100 degrees centigrade.
The nurse took my temperature.
Susie has a temperature and has gone to bed.
The referee's decision to give a penalty raised the temperature of the match.
Tempest. Tempest.
Haley dismissed the lawsuit as a tempest in a teapot. Tempestuous.
Tempestuous.
A tempestuous marriage.
Template.
Template.
Her childhood became a template for how she brought up her own children.
Temple. Temple.
Tempo.
Tempo.
The easy tempo of island life.
Tempo.
Temporal.
Temporal.
The temporal character of human existence.
Edgar ruled over the church as well as his temporal kingdom.
Temporary.
Temporary.
Temporary pain relief.
I'm living with my parents, but it's only temporary.
You might want to consider temporary work until you decide what you want to do.
She was employed on a temporary basis.
Temporary accommodation.
The bridge was erected as a temporary measure.
Due to a small fire, the office will be closed temporarily.
Temporize.
Temporize.
Tempt.
Tempt.
The new program is designed to tempt young people into studying engineering.
It would take a lot of money to tempt me to quit this job. It would take a lot of money to tempt me to quit this job.
If you leave valuables in your car, it will tempt thieves.
I'm tempted to buy that dress.
Fire officials said developers are tempting fate by building deep into the scenic canyons. Temptation.
Temptation.
There might be a temptation to cheat if students sit too close together.
Resist the temptation to buy the item until you're certain you need it. I finally gave in to the temptation and had a cigarette.
Selling alcohol at truck stops is an unnecessary temptation for drivers. Tempting.
Tempting.
A tempting job offer.
That pie looks tempting. It's tempting to believe her story.
Temptress.
Temptress. Tempera.
Tempera.
10.
10.
Snow had been falling steadily for 10 days.
I need to be home by 10.
At the time, she was about 10. 10 to 1, he'll have forgotten all about it tomorrow.
You get 10 out of 10 for effort, Simon.
I reached inside my purse and handed him a 10.
Tenable.
Tenable.
An idea which is no longer tenable.
Tenacious.
Tenacious.
A tenacious negotiator.
A tenacious religious tradition that is still practiced in Shinto temples.
Tenancy.
Tenancy.
A 6-month tenancy.
A tenancy agreement.
Tenant.
Tenant.
The desk was left by the previous tenant.
Tenant farmer.
Tenant farmer.
The 10 Commandments.
10 Commandments.
The 10 Commandments of good communication are designed to help people to communicate better within an organization. Tend.
Tend.
People tend to need less sleep as they get older.
My car tends to overheat in the summer.
Sophia was in the bedroom tending to her son.
Charles tends towards obesity.
Interest rates are tending upwards.
Tendency.
Tendency.
Greg's tendency to be critical made him unpopular with his co-workers.
The drug is effective but has a tendency to cause headaches.
Some people may inherit a tendency to alcoholism.
Researchers believe that the tendency for diabetes is present at birth. There is an increasing tendency for women to have children later in life.
A general tendency towards conservation and recycling. A tendency among Americans to get married at a later age.
Children with aggressive or antisocial tendencies.
The growing fascist tendency.
Tendentious.
Tendentious.
Tender.
Tender.
Continue cooking until the meat is tender.
My arm is still tender where I bruised it.
Her voice was tender and soft. A slow, tender kiss.
Tender plants that were killed by the harsh winter.
Nicholas was sent to boarding school at the tender age of 7. As company secretary, you must tender the proposal.
The seller has the right to keep the goods until payment is tendered to him.
Minton tendered her resignation on Friday.
We are unable to tender competitively for the contract.
Our bid was the lowest tender. The contract for building the houses will be put out to tender.
Tender-hearted.
Tender-hearted.
Tenderize.
Tenderize.
Tenderizer.
Tenderizer.
Tenderloin.
Tenderloin.
Tendon.
Tendon.
Tendril.
Tendril.
Tenement.
Tenement.
Tenet.
Tenet.
One of the basic tenets of democracy.
The main tenet of his philosophy.
Tenfold.
Tenfold.
Business has increased tenfold in the past 2 years.
10-gallon hat.
10-gallon hat.
Tenor.
Tenor.
Can you lend me a tenner?
Tennis.
Tennis.
Tennis court.
Tennis court.
Tennis elbow.
Tennis elbow.
Tennis shoe.
Tennis shoe.
Tenon.
Tenon.
Tenor.
Tenor.
Arthur Davies sings the tenor solo.
Many voters admitted being disturbed by the tenor of the election campaign.
The general tenor of her speech.
A tenor saxophone.
Tenpin.
Tenpin.